Footballtribe YouTube channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football updates channel. It's a pleasure to be back. And today we are here at least 20 minutes early and more than 40 minutes earlier than we have been in our previous broadcasts. So, yeah. And we'll be discussing the latest from the world of transfers because plenty of things did happen today and more is bound to happen in the coming days at least. So do join me on this journey as we discuss the latest. I do hope we'll have a wonderful time. I do hope we have a wonderful time and a fruitful discussion between you guys and I because anyways, there's a lot to talk about, as the nature always is with transfers. We'll be speaking about Manchester United and Bryan Mbeumo. We'll be speaking about their pursuit for a striker. We'll be speaking about Arsenal's announcements and then, then Liverpool's exploits in the transfer window, then how Newcastle are failing to, land their targets, and how that what we think could be is impacting them in regards to their pursuits so far this summer, because they failed to land a couple of targets and they've conceded or lost those to rival clubs in the Premier League. So it does sort of leave a bit of food for thought in regards to what's happening really at Newcastle and things of that nature. So, but like I told you guys yesterday, my expectation was that bid for Manchester United bid for Bryan Mbeumo would be accepted. So we'll be discussing that, and then also we will be talking about the Hugo Ekiteke deal, some contract signings, including Matt Sells at Nottingham Forest. I think that's where we should start, anyways. We should start at Nottingham Forest because today they did confirm that the goalkeeper Matt Sells, who was a Golden Glove winner last season alongside David Raya, has put pen to paper on a long-term contract. So that news is out as well. So beautiful stuff for Nottingham Forest, if we're being honest, really, because Chane. Hi, Chane. How are you doing? Is that how you pronounce the name? Chane? Yo, good to have you in the broadcast. Guys, kindly like the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel if you're new here with us. Chane Mackey says, yes. Sonic something? Is that Sonic? Is it Sonic? How do you pronounce your name? I hope I'm doing it justice. And if I'm doing it injustice, please accept my sincere apologies for the mispronunciation of your name. And then I see, guys, please like the broadcast. Do me the absolute favor and like the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel and help me grow to 2,000 followers, subscribers. Sorry, that's the attempt. How am I doing? I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. And for those of you that are wondering, I'm coming to you live from Kampala, Uganda. It's about 10:44 p.m. East African time. I know that means it's about 8:44 p.m. in the UK. For our people in the UK, for our people in India, it's probably 44 minutes past midnight. For our people in the USA, probably it's morning hours and things like that. But I do appreciate all of you that have been joining us every single day, every single night. Thank you so much for yesterday. For those of you that were part of all our 4 broadcasts during the course of yesterday, it's a pleasure. For those of you that do watch our broadcasts long after they've ended, I do not take your time for granted. Thank you so much for the love and support. For those of you that have gone to the channel and checked out our videos, our shorts, under those different sections, I do appreciate you a great deal. Continue to go there and look at that content. We do discuss why I think Liverpool should be breaking the bank to sign Alexander Isak, but also I do answer the question why I think Manchester United should sign Nicholas Jackson. So much to the contrary of what Man United fans would want to hear, but I do share those opinions. I see I have a question. So what do you do on this channel? Like it reads, a Football Tribe. We do discuss the latest from the world of football, particularly with the Premier League as priority, and of course beyond, depending on where the headlines are coming from. And so far this period, of course, we just concluded the FIFA Club World Cup, and now it's a full-blown, transfer news. But we are also headed for preseason games. Those games should be they have already started. Some of your teams have already played some games here and there, small games. For example, Liverpool did play a game against Preston North End. They won that game by 3-1, and so more should be coming, especially in the coming week. I do suspect Manchester United are in action tomorrow. I think that game against Leeds, if I stand to be corrected on the timelines, but that game is tomorrow. Remember, Manchester United have 4 games to play against the Premier League opponents, including Everton, Leeds. Who is the other? Is it West Ham? I think West Ham United. Among some of those games already. So when it comes to pre-season games, keep your eyes peeled on that as well. So we'll try our best to bring you the latest in terms of results, in terms of fixtures, when it comes to some of your favorite teams in regards to what games. Yes, that game is coming tomorrow at 4 p.m. East African time, between Manchester United and Leeds United. Then their next game will be up against West Ham. They will also play Bournemouth, and then also they have a game against Fiorentina that will be coming in preseason. As far as I think it will be their final game of the preseason, but they also have another game against Everton. And by the way, I do feel this is a very, very good sort of setup that Man United, or challenge that Manchester United have given themselves. Chane says he has subscribed. Thank you so much, really, for the sub. Thank you so much. Kudos to you, my brother, and every single one of you that has subscribed during the course of this broadcast. So, but okay, let's discuss Man United in just a bit. Let's first return to Nottingham Forest before we deviate from what our intentions were. Like I said, they did announce that the goalkeeper, Matt Sells, has put pen to paper on a new long-term contract following that superb season in which he won the Golden Glove alongside David Villa. Both kept 13 clean sheets. He had the 73% save, for saves. So that's really, really incredible. I do hope that Nottingham Forest retain their core. Milinkovic Savic in that centre back role alongside Morillo. Ola Aina did sign a new contract until June 2028, so he will be staying. Of course, Tottenham are trying to price them out, to price away Morgan Gibbs-White, but he's one of those players that I really thought they should keep a hold on. They've already lost Anthony Elanga. They want to add, I think they've added a striker, Igor, from, was it Botafogo? And then also they've agreed a deal to sign Danilo. Yes, to sign Danilo from Botafogo. He's finished his first part of the medical, and he will continue with the rest of what's to come in regards to completing that move. So let's keep our eyes peeled to that. But yeah, Ola Aina did also sign a new contract. So a lot of things are happening at Nottingham Forest. Remember, next season they're going to be playing in the UEFA Europa League, following that decision that relegated Crystal Palace from the UEFA Europa League to the Conference League after being found in breach of the Malt club ownership due to John Textor. That's the American, investor, the owner of, I think, Eagle Sports. He holds shares in Olympic Lyon and also held shares in Crystal Palace. So as penalty for being found in breach of those rules, Crystal Palace were relegated from the UEFA Europa League to the UEFA Conference League, and then subsequently Nottingham Forest were elevated from the UEFA Conference League to the UEFA Europa League. Now the expectation is that Crystal Palace will appeal that decision in the court of arbitration for sport, but let's wait on the ultimate decisions that will come from that line. But at the moment, that's how things do stand. And the other players they are looking to give new contracts is Callum Hudson-Odoi as well as Morgan Gibbs-White. Those are the players they are looking to, to give new contracts. They also did announce the signing of Lamine Silla. Yes, Lamine Silla from Olympiacos. Now remember, Olympiacos is under the ownership of Evangelos Marinakis, who is also the owner of Nottingham Forest. So, brotherly trade in there, happening. So, and that kind of thing. So, but that's the situation happening at Nottingham Forest. So quickly, let's run away from Nottingham Forest and go to Manchester United, because things are really, really happening. Like I told you guys yesterday, after that, third bid for Manchester United worth £70 million, 65 of that being the guaranteed fees plus 5 in expected add-ons. My expectation was that Brentford were, going to accept that offer from Man United, and that a deal would be complete in the coming days. And so that does not differ pretty much from what we got today. The only slight change is in the expected add-ons. It's gone from £5 million to £6 million. So that's the only change. But that offer was, was accepted. And this was revealed by the same usual suspect in David Austin, who said Manchester United reached agreement with Brentford to sign Bryan Mbeumo. Deal between clubs struck at £65 million, guaranteed plus up to £6 million in add-ons. It will be paid in 4 installments for the 25-year-old Cameroon international. So that means, on average, that Manchester United will be paying about £16.25 million per season for the next 4 years. Sorry, not next 4 years, but in 4 installments. Now, when it comes to installments, it could be that those installments are payable in 4 years. So, for example, per annum, they pay £16.25 million. But I do not know that for absolute certainty. What I can say is that sometimes it could be that in every 1.5 years, 2 of those installments are paid. So that means the 4 installments would then have been paid in a space of 3 years, as opposed to 4 years. So it also depends on what the agreement is between the clubs. So after that agreement, the player has since been given the green light to undergo his medical, and according to the same source, he is expected to undergo his medical over the course of the weekend. Remember, Man United want him to be part of the US tour. That's where they will be playing games against Everton, and things like that. So he does turn. He's not 26, by the way. He's 25. He does turn 26 around August. During that time. That's the Cameroon international. So everything looks to be literally done and dusted. We will be waiting for the player to undergo his medical, which we expect he will pass, and then subsequently he will be announced as a Manchester United player, their second signing of the summer. I know, yesterday I told you they have already signed 2 players in Diego Leon and Matthias Cunha, but remember, Diego Leon's deal was done, I think, in January, during the same time when they did that one of Patrick Dogu to join them. So that's £71 million. Okay, let's say £65 million plus the other 62.5. That's about £127.5 million financial outlay on 2 players. A good investment, Manchester United. So that's it in regards to the Bryan Mbeumo deal. In regards to Manchester United's preseason, like I said, they do kick it off tomorrow in that game against Leeds United at 4 p.m. East African time. They will be up against Leeds United, and then after that they will play West Ham United on July the 27th, and then they will play Bournemouth on Thursday, 31st of July. Then also on August the 4th, they will play Everton before playing Fiorentina on 9th August. So that is the fixture schedule for Manchester United. So Fiorentina will be their final game of preseason before they usher themselves into the new Premier League season that does kick off with a home fixture at Old Trafford against Arsenal. So we'll wait on that. Then also, according to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Manchester United should have a much narrower squad going into next season, bearing in mind that they do not have UEFA, European football. That means UEFA Conference League, UEFA Europa League, or UEFA Champions League. So he is of the school of thought, pretty much also in agreement with the manager, Ruben Amorim, but that's what he is told the manager, that he should be having a a slim squad or a narrow squad, as opposed to having a bloated squad as though they are playing at, multiple fronts. Now, it could come back to bite you in a way, but also I think it is really, really understandable, because when you work with a smaller group of players, you can really, really concentrate on improving those ones, to teach them your new system. That's for the manager, Ruben Amorim. Then it also reduces the number of unhappy players that may be in the squad that feel are not getting enough game time and things of that nature. The challenge for Manchester United so far is how do they move on some of those unwanted players, because right now they are making some additions, even though it feels more than slow paced compared to their rivals. It does feel that way, but it remains a challenge of how they move on those players. And among those players is the first five in Anthony, in Jordan Sancho, in Marcus Rashford, in Tyler Malacia, and who is the other? Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho, Anthony, and Tyler Malacia. Yes, those are the first five. Then you add on players like Andre Onana. They would have wanted to move him on, but particularly because they think they deserve to have a better goalkeeper. Luke Shaw is among those expected to leave the club. Rasmus Højlund, that door could be open for him to leave, or actually one of either of Rasmus Højlund or Joshua Zirkzee. So the decision will boil down to the manager on who he wants to keep. I remember Joshua Zirkzee can play as a 10, and yet they're signing two number 10s literally in Matthias Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo. So that begs the question: is there still room for a player like Joshua Zirkzee, or they'll have to move him on and look to, hold on to a player like Rasmus Højlund, who is an outright number 9 or striker? So we will wait to see how Man United will navigate that situation. But he is among, the one of those two players could be destined for an exit, and then they will stay with Chido Martin Obi. Then also they do want to sign a striker. We are going to speak about that in a bit. So then also they will already let go of players like Victor Lindelof, Christian Eriksen, Johnny Evans. Those have already exited the squad. Good morning, my sweet friend. Love you, Genman. Hi, good to have you on the broadcast. I do not know, but if you're new here, do me the absolute favor and like the broadcast, but also subscribe to the channel. So, anyways, so they've already had some outgoings, like I've told you. Johnny Evans retired from football. Victor Lindelof, his contract ended and it's not being renewed. Christian Eriksen, same fate. So those are already outgoings from the club. I'm from Kampala, Uganda. Thanks for asking. Love you. So where are you from? Do let me know also as well. So that situation is at that. And it remains to be seen how Man United get all these other players out of the door to try and create space for the few that they hope to recruit this summer. Like I've told you, they are interested in getting a striker. They have multiple options that they are looking at. What flag is this? Kindly indulge me. When I place my cursor on the flag, it doesn't show what country. And I'm not very good with flags, because many tend to look a little bit of the same. So forgive me if I can't guess it. But they are looking at multiple options. Among the multiple options, a name that is constantly being mentioned, so much to the detest of Manchester United fans, is Nicholas Jackson. So, India. Okay, thank you so much, Team India. It's always a pleasure to have a new member from India. So, like I was saying, they've been linked with all sorts of strikers. They've missed out on some. For example, they were in the lead to sign Liam Delap. They missed out on that. He went to Chelsea. Victor Osimhen is destined for a move to. In fact, that deal has been agreed in principle for the transfer of Victor Osimhen. And this is according to Ben Jacobs, who says Galatasaray and Napoli have agreed a 75 million euro fee For Victor Osimhen, structure of the deal verbally approved by Napoli with only small parts remaining. Galatasaray cautious, but a full agreement is understood to be not far off. So Victor Osimhen was also linked with the potential move to Manchester United. He's now off to Galatasaray in Turkey. Then they were linked with a potential move. They've been linked with a potential move for Fiorentina's Moises Kean. For those of you that do remember his time at Genoa, while he was on loan from Juventus, then at Juventus itself, then he also he had a stint with Everton, which didn't work out pretty well. They bought him for about 40 million euros. Then in his second season at Everton, he was sent out on loan to PSG. Then when he returned, he was shipped back to Juventus, and now he's a Fiorentina player. He did score 19 goals in the Italian Serie A last season, so quite impressive. Gia Shri Ram, what does that mean? Love you. What does Gia Shri Ram mean in English? Because is that in Hindu? Sorry, in Hindi? Is that in Hindi? So indulge me anyways. So like I said, so they missed out on multiple options, but I do not think Moises Kean will be a good fit. Then they were linked with the potential move for Victor Gyökeres, primarily because their manager in Ruben Amorim formerly managed the player at Sporting Lisbon, and he does appreciate the player as a striker, but that one looks bound for a move to Arsenal if, and this is a big if they can agree to terms, especially when it comes to those add-ons, the 10 million euros in add-ons. That's where the sticking point still is between Arsenal and Sporting Lisbon to reaching a full agreement for the transfer of the player. So looks like they're missing out on that one. And then Hugo Ekitike looks more, there's already agreed to personal terms in principle with Liverpool on a 6-year contract as Liverpool continue with negotiations with Eintracht Frankfurt for the transfer of the 23-year-old. So looks like Man United won't be getting that. Can they make a move for Benjamin Sesko? We can never say never, but they've not, to the best of our knowledge, they've not made any inquiries regarding Benjamin Sesko. Then they've been linked with the potential move to Oli Watkins. They've had preliminary talks with his camp, although no, it hasn't gone beyond that. Then previously, most recently, they've been linked with a potential move for Nicholas Jackson. And it is true, it's been widely reported that Man United are considering or weighing their options of signing Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea. Now, that's a story that's not going away, so much so, even though Man United fans do not want the sound of it, they do not want to hear it, but the interest there is concrete. And for those of you that want to hear my arguments on why I think Man United should go ahead and sign a player like Nicholas Jackson, please go check out that story or that video on the channel. It's titled Why I Think Manchester United Should Sign Nicholas Jackson. So go ahead and check out that video. You will know what my thoughts are. And particularly in that same video, I do try to explain why I think Man United are drawn or attracted to a player like Nicholas Jackson, only 24 years of age, by the way. So Senegalese international. He so far scored a total of 24 goals in his first 2 Premier League seasons. He's provided, I think, 10 assists. While at it, that's a 34-goal involvement, which is not a bad return on investment over the first 2 seasons in the Premier League. So for me, I completely understand why Man United are interested in signing a player like Nicholas Jackson. So then the others that they've been linked with the potential move for have been players like Jamie Vardy, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Callum Wilson, all players who I think that Manchester United shouldn't be signing really. Those are players that I think Man United shouldn't be anywhere near of, because in any case, I do not think they are worth it. I do not think they are worth it. Not one bit. So this was again reaffirmed by Florian Plettenberg, who works with Sky Germany, and he is a reliable source. He said Nicholas Jackson is on the shortlist for Manchester United as the club are looking to bring in a new striker Nothing advanced yet, and there are some more options, but Manchester United are closely monitoring Jackson's situation. The 24-year-old versatile striker could leave Chelsea if a suitable offer arrives, and many inquiries have been made. His contract runs until 2033. So that means he signed what? A 10-year contract, because he joined Chelsea in the summer of 2023. And the other teams that are interested in his services is Aston Villa, because Unai Emery worked with the player during his time at Villarreal, where he in his final season, that was 2022-2023, he scored 12 goals and I think provided 2 or 4 assists thereabout. Those were his numbers posted. Love is asking, you're a football team member? I'm a football fan of enthusiast, if I can put it that way. So that's the situation regards to Manchester United is striking persons. He's not the only one on that list or potential targets, but like I've said, let's just wait and see who Manchester United will zero down to. Then they also want to bring in a goalkeeper, and they have made their inquiries, but they have not yet they've not gone beyond those inquiries. So we will wait and see how things may develop in the coming days in respect to Manchester United. I subscribe. You have subscribed, or you're asking me whether you should subscribe? If you have subscribed, thank you so much. If you've not yet and you're just considering it, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But thank you so much. Love you from India there. So guys, is there anything that you feel we've left out regarding Manchester United? We've discussed their squad, how they need to narrow it down. We've discussed their pursuit for a striker. We've discussed the Bryan Mbeumo deal. I've previously reported to you about the injury of Andre Onana. It's a hamstring injury. Maybe the situation with the goalkeeper, they've made considerations for multiple goalkeepers. Remember, Monaco had made inquiries about the availability of Andre Onana, but those conversations didn't go too far. Kayode Ogudeji from Nigeria, the Arsenal fan. Good to have you once again on the podcast. Kindly like the podcast, but thank you so much for joining us once again tonight. So when it comes to goalkeeping options, Manchester United have been linked with the potential move for Emi Martinez from Aston Villa. They've considered Andre Ronin, that's a second goalkeeper at Real Madrid. They've considered Casenecchi, the Italian goalkeeper at Atlanta, and who is the other that they've been linked with the potential move for. His name does elude me a bit, but also they've made inquiries about Royal Antwerp's goalkeeper. That's Sene Lamens. Yes, Sene Lamens. So his own Manchester United is radar. Some initial talks did take place, but nothing beyond that. So let's wait and see. But that interest does date to as far back as January. That's according to TalkSport's Alex Cook. How am I doing? I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kayode. I hope you are doing well as well. So, but that's the overall situation at Manchester United. Do let me know if you have any other questions regarding Man United, or what you feel I've not tackled, or what you feel I've left out. But like I said, the incoming of Bryan Mbeumo with Matthias Cunha already in the team does sort of beg the question of whether Man United will be able to accommodate Joshua Zirkzee. And remember, they are looking for a striker. So that means the expectation is that Man United will play with a goalkeeper and then a 3-4-2-1 system, because Ruben Amorim likes to play with 2 number 10s. So that means a back 3, a wing backs, and then 2 midfielders. Let's assume it will be either of Casemiro or Manuel Ugarte alongside Kobe Mainoo, or alongside Bruno Fernandes, and then ahead of them will be. So let's take the assumption it's Casemiro alongside Bruno Fernandes, and then ahead of them will be Bryan Mbeumo, Matthias Cunha as the 2 number 10s, plus a striker leading. So then that means that Rasmus Højlund, Joshua Zirkzee are all on the bench. But I've told you guys before, Bruno Fernandes as a number 8 has previously not worked. unless something changes significantly, I wait to see how that will play out. But I've always said, I made the case or the argument that I do think Manchester United need a number 8 in that squad. And so far, I do not think they do have one. The kind of player that would sort of try to fit that mold will be Kobe Mino, but his development has declined in the last one season or so, compared to the player that he was the revelation of during Eric Ten Hag's time. So let's wait and see. Then quickly, let's move away from that and let's go to Arsenal, because today Arsenal have formally announced the signing of Noni Maduweke from Chelsea. That deal totaling to £52 million. According to multiple sources, the guaranteed fees is about £48 million with £4 million in expected add-ons. We do not know what the conditions are for those add-ons, but that deal has been formally announced, and it does become Arsenal's fourth signing of the summer. The 23-year-old, England international plays predominantly on the right wing, but can also play at the left wing. His 1v1s are one of the reasons as to why Arsenal made the move to sign him quite expensively. Now, while they were uploading their media files in announcement of that deal, they sort of made a blunder and also uploaded among them a shot of Christian Mosquera doing his media duties. And so if Arsenal were planning to prolong the announcement of Christian Mosquera, then that will possibly force their hand to shift timelines for that announcement when it comes to Christian Mosquera. But that deal is also being worked. That deal is also complete. The player that did complete his medicals. So, anyways, when it comes to the deal itself, according to Ghana blog of the Athletic, he did a report that Noni Maduweke has long had admirers among Arsenal's coaching staff, including Mikel Arteta. However, Edu Gaspar and the recruitment department had reservations in previous summers, and looks like once Andrea Bata walked in, they perhaps sold him the idea, and it's one he did appreciate and acted upon, because he has been very, very crucial in the talks to bring in Noni Maduweke, pretty much as Mikel Arteta, who equally was crucial in those talks in terms of selling the Arsenal project to Noni Maduweke. Hope Man United going to sign Mbeumo. Yes, that deal, like I've told you, is happening. His medical he will undergo his Manchester United medical over the course of this weekend. Then this is what Mikel Arteta had to say about Noni Maduweke following, signing the 23-year-old on a 5-year contract from Chelsea. He said Noni is an exciting and powerful young player with his performances and numbers in recent seasons being of consistently high quality. He is one of the most talented wide forward players in the Premier League. At just 23, Noni already brings experience of club and international football, and he knows the Premier League very well. Having seen the quality of Noni's performance up close in recent seasons, we are really excited he is joining us. Those were some of the comments from Mikel Arteta regarding the signing of Noni Maduweke, or as it was, made official that he is a new, Arsenal player. Like I said, accidentally, they did that leak and announced, Christian Mosquera. So let's just wait for the formal announcement to come. But looks like that era will have forced, Arsenal's hand to try and quicken their announcement schedule, because Arsenal tend to drag their feet when it comes to announcing new players, and yet you have Nottingham Forest announcing players like Danilo before they even complete their final parts of the medical, because I think they said he had completed his first part of the medical at the time of revealing that news. So, anyways, that's how they do their thing. But that deal is done. Arsenal fans, what do you think about Noni Maduweke? Is he a signing that you like, or you have your personal reservation? Upgunners for signing Maduweke, yeah. So that deal is done. Then, like I said, accidentally they added a photo of Christian Mosquera. So he joins Arsenal from Valencia in a deal worth about £18 million. That's in guaranteed fees and expected add-ons. Only 21 years of age, he's a right-footed centre-back, can play at right-back, but also can play on the left side of that, centre-back role. So we are just waiting for an announcement, and he will be part of that Arsenal squad that will travel to Asia. Then also, still about Arsenal, I've told you the situation regarding Victor Gyökeres is that most of the things were agreed on player side and the club side. Then club to club, they did agree on the total package, but the sticking point is still with the expected add-ons. Sporting Lisbon want them as easily achievable as they could come. They want them to be easily achievable as a hot knife, slicing through butter. While on the other side, Arsenal want to make it feel like a bit of a nail-biting endeavor, really, a bit of a hard nut to crack, really. They want to make it a coconut kind of achievable add-ons when it comes to that, because for Arsenal, they do make the case that the player should be helping them to win the Premier League title and perhaps the Champions League, and that's when the Sporting Lisbon should qualify to receive some of those add-ons, while Sporting Lisbon are saying that, look, we want those add-ons achieved if he makes 20 Premier League games, then pay us this much. If he makes 10 UEFA Champions League games, then pay us this much. If he scores 10 goals, then pay us this much. Like that. So they still they are still at a stalemate regarding that deal, but it's still in the works. We are yet to get the here we go when it comes to when it comes to Victor Gyökeres, but hopefully that will be coming soon. Then this was according to okay, that's the situation at Arsenal. Then also Ethan Nwaneri has put pen to paper on a new long-term contract. It's a 5-year contract that he has put pen to paper on during the course of the week. That news was revealed by Sam Dean of the Telegraph, who broke that news that Ethan Nwaneri has now signed his 5-year contract at Arsenal. Deal fully agreed and done. Another huge boost for Arsenal after Miles Lewis Kelly's contract was agreed earlier this summer. So that means Arsenal have so far agreed 3 contracts that they've completed: Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis Kelly, and Gabriel Magalhaes. So there's still more to go. Players like William Saliba and Bukayo Saka, should those works in the pipeline that Arsenal will look to conclude. It's a huge boost because at some point it felt like Arsenal were bound to lose these negotiations, that the player wouldn't, agree to the terms, and through his representatives. The player has always wanted to stay at Arsenal. Remember, he joined Arsenal at the age of 8, and he's risen through the ranks. Then once things were not really happening in the right direction, that's when clubs like Chelsea started circling. Some German clubs were circling around, Ethan Nwaneri, trying to keep their ear to the ground to see if there's an opportunity to pounce on. And it remained to be seen if Arsenal are going to permit him to enter his final year of the contract, or they would have looked to listen to offers for him. Because once you enter the final year of your contract, then with 6 months left to it, you are allowed to reach pre-contract agreements with teams from foreign countries and things of that nature. But congratulations, Arsenal, you sealed that one as well. Kayode says, yes, I'm very, very happy for the signing of Noni Maduweke. He was responding to our earlier question of what Arsenal fans do feel about the signing of Noni Maduweke. So that's the big news at Arsenal. Then also Takehiro Tomiyasu was speaking about his departure or having his contract up at Arsenal, and part of what he said in that interview was that when I was saying goodbye to each teammate, I realized I was really loved. So he was a bit of a popular figure in terms of being loved within the dressing room. sort of went by easily with most people. No shenanigans, no difficulties, and things of that nature. Then where do we go next? Let's go to Liverpool, because Liverpool things are really happening at Liverpool, and they are happening at a pace that I must say we are not envisioned in one way or the other. Should I say that? Because things are really happening. One, for starters, Liverpool are confident that they will reach an agreement with Eintracht Frankfurt for the transfer of Hugo Ekitike. Negotiations between the two clubs continue to find an agreement for the transfer of the player, but let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. But like I've told you, they've already agreed to personal terms with the player on a 6-year contract. And again, this was revealed by Ben Jacobs, saying Liverpool are optimistic to reaching an agreement with Frankfurt for Hugo Ekitike, having already agreed terms. Frankfurt are meticulous negotiators. Advanced talks continue today and potentially over the weekend. So the 23-year-old French striker is keen on a move to Anfield. So we will keep our eyes on that. But while that is happening, Bayern Munich remain in negotiations with Liverpool for Luis Diaz. Now, Luis Diaz has informed Liverpool that not only would he want to leave this summer, but also he would love to join Bayern Munich, and that's according to Florian Plettenberg. He said, and I quote, Luis Diaz has not only informed Liverpool of his desire to leave, but has also made it clear to Liverpool that he would like to join Bayern Munich if possible. The transfer is approved by Vincent Kompany, that's on the Bayern Munich side. There is no full agreement between Bayern Munich and Diaz. However, personal terms are not an issue, with a potential contract running at least until 2029. Remember, at Liverpool, his current contract runs until June 2027, so it has 2 years left to his contract, and Liverpool have not, invited him for contract renewal negotiations, and that's perhaps maybe it's best premised upon that background that he does feel maybe Liverpool are not as happy with him as he maybe would have expected. Remember, he's been at Liverpool for the last 3.5 years. He did join in January 2022. So very impressive player. Last season, he scored 13 goals in the Premier League and provided, I think, 5 assists and I think 17 goals in all competitions. So that's the situation with Luis Diaz. Bayern Munich continue to push to try and sign him. Then after that, they are expected to make advances on Mark Cahill for Crystal Palace and Rodrigo Goes to try and seal those deals if that's after they seal the transfer for a striker, and then they will also look to work on some outgoings from the squad. Then Manchester City are considering a move for James Trafford to return to the club this summer, but only if one of their 2 main goalkeepers leaves. Contacts took place in the recent days as Manchester City have a buyback clause that is believed to be worth about £40 million, by the way, and this is why Newcastle deal is not sealed yet. Now, Newcastle have been trying all summer to sign James Trafford. That's the Burnley goalkeeper. But like I told you, either yesterday or today morning, that the player rose to the ranks of Manchester City Academy before he made the switch to Brentford, where he played under Vincent Kompany, or for Vincent Kompany as the manager at the time when they earned their promotion while winning the Sky Bet Championship in 2022, and then came to, that was 2022-2023 season, and then in 2023-2024 season they played in the Premier League and of course were subsequently relegated. Madueke is going to shock the Premier League with goals and assists. Let's hope it does happen that way, the way you do expect it. Otherwise, it's been a sort of a controversial transfer deal amongst some of the Arsenal fan base. Others completely understand it, others do not understand it, others just do not like the player, others just do not like where the players come from, and things of that nature. But that's the nature of football. Some people like certain things, others don't. So, but anyways, back to Man City. Now, Burnley are apparently plotting a deal to try and sign Stefan Ortega from Manchester City. Now, this is quite interesting. I'm here thinking to myself, why not just do a swap deal? Because, like I said, Newcastle have been trying to almost all summer to sign James Trafford because they view him as a long-term replacement for Nick Pope. Excuse me. Because remember, James Trafford is only 22 years of age. He's only 22 years of age. So that means they do, and very good with his feet, very good with his hands as well. I watched him quite a bit at the time when they were in the Premier League with Vincent Company that season. They were playing good football. They're just poor at scoring and very, very poor at defending at the time. So, but let's wait and see. But now, because he came from Man City have a buyback clause worth £40 million. So if they exercise that, but before they can get him back. But before they do that, they want to be able to move on at least one of their goalkeepers, either Ederson Morales or Stefan Ortega. Now, remember, it's not too long ago that Stefan Ortega signed a new contract. Then Napoli wanted to sign Ederson Morales, and that deal proved to be too expensive for them before they opted for another goalkeeper. So things have been happening in that regard. That's the expectation. That the direction for which things will take. Then also, this is according to the Madrid zone. Saudi Arabia clubs are willing to pay up to 350 million euros. That's about 303 million pounds, approximately, to Real Madrid for the transfer of Vinicius Junior. And the player says he wants to stay, but Saudi are feeling encouraged because he is yet to agree to a contract extension. That's according to Ben Jacobs. Now, the situation with Vinicius is that Real Madrid want to renew his contract. However, apparently, his representatives, or he through his representatives, are asking for exorbitant wages to the tune, apparently, of 30 million euros per season, and that he wants to be the highest paid player at the Santiago Bernabeu. Now, while Real Madrid can afford that, I do not think they want to set that kind of precedent of those kinds of wages, because then what's not to say that in 2-3 years' time, Kylian Mbappe demands the same, that Jude Bellingham demands for the same. So, and yet Florentino Perez is a shrewd operator who is not afraid to cut off an arm to save the body. And in this case, Vinicius Junior is the arm, a very strong arm in that Real Madrid team. But if it comes down to that, then I'm sure Florentino Perez will not hesitate whatsoever to cut off that arm to save the body. And just imagine, in the morning, I think I was speaking about this deal, either in the morning or yesterday, and I was saying, just imagine a club came and offered 200 million pounds, or anywhere between 180 to 200 million pounds for Vinicius Junior. Real Madrid could take it and use it to reinvest. Go to Newcastle, get Alexander Isak, or at this stage go to Frankfurt and get Hugo Ekitike, because Kylian Mbappe can play off that left wing. They still have Rodrigo Goes, who can play off that left wing, who is to say they do not go to RB Leipzig and sign Benjamin Sesko or Xavi Simons. What's it not to say that they do not go to PSG and sign Desiree Doué? What's it not to say that they go and sign maybe Nico Williams, or whichever player that they may want to replace Rodrigo Goes with, that they may want to replace Vinicius Junior with. So I think Vinicius Junior and his representatives could be working on a bit of eggshells in this case. So, but let's wait and see. Let's wait and see how everything will develop, in the coming days when it comes to, Vinicius Junior. And like I keep saying, we still have a very, very long way to go as far as this transfer window is concerned. We still have at least no less than 6 weeks left to it. So that's the situation on that front. Then, okay. What else? Is there anything we've left out regarding Liverpool? I do not want to think so. I do not want to think so. Then Liverpool have, Leeds United have confirmed the signing of Sean Longstaff from Newcastle in a deal worth £12 million plus £3 million in expected add-ons. Then also today, we did learn of Arsenal's desire or Arsenal's interest as well as that of Chelsea in Xavi Simons. He is a player on their radar. Now, I do value Xavi Simons, only 22 years of age. I do rate him really, really highly. He's good on both feet. He can play on both left and right wing. He can also play as that center forward kind of player. He is that fluid sort of player. Very, very impressive youngster with, by the good amount of experience. He was initially at PSV Eindhoven, then I think then he was a PSG player. Then he was loaned out to RB Leipzig, where he did really, really well, and they signed him only permanently in January. And his numbers are really, really good when you look at him really. So he's one of those exciting talents that you look at and say, why are clubs not clamoring for his signature? You know, why are clubs not clamoring for his signature? The Dutch youngster is really, really impressive. He's really, really impressive. Only 22 years of age. But when you look at his RB Leipzig numbers, for example, in his debut campaign, he made 32 appearances. That was 2023-2024. He scored 8 goals and provided 11 assists. That's a 19-goal contribution. While last season, he played significantly less games. I think 7 games less compared to the season before that. He played only 25 matches in the German Bundesliga alone. Scored 10 goals and provided 7 assists. That's a 17-goal involvement still, you know. So, I mean, very, very impressive, yeah, kind of player. DFB Pokal played 3 matches, scored 1 goal, provided 1 assist. In the UEFA Champions League, 5 matches, no goals. But the season prior to that, he did play 8 games, scored 2 goals and provided 2 assists. And then when you look at his record at in the Dutch Eredivisie, that's during the 2022-2023 campaign, he scored 19 goals and provided 8 assists in 34 appearances. While, of course, PSG didn't play much for it. Now, because they only signed him recently in January, and possibly PSG have a sell-on clause, he may not come cheap. He may not come for less than 80 million euros. But Chelsea and Arsenal do retain interest in signing Xavi Simons. Let's wait and see if any of them will act on that interest in the as sort of the transfer window, ages on. And Chelsea could look to first move on Nicholas Jackson before they sign a striker. Then for Arsenal, they want to explore a deal to sign Ebelechi Eze, and we did get reports, I think yesterday, that they were cooling down their interest in Rodrigo Goes. So let's wait and see how everything will happen on that front. Then Yohan Wissa, and this is very, very, very interesting. Yohan Wissa or Yohan Wissa, depending on how you pronounce the name, is still keen on a move away, with Spurs and Newcastle actively interested. Brentford would like to extend Wissa's contract, but he remains open to an exit. A harder deal to strike now that Bryan Mbeumo is heading to Manchester United, but Brentford are braced for bids. Now, this is the situation that I tried to explain yesterday and also in the morning. That yesterday we learned of Newcastle's interest in Yohan Wissa, and based on that interest, it sort of forced Manchester United's hand to make a third bid for Bryan Mbeumo, which has since been accepted. I did tell you that in all honesty, and Keith Andrews has told his bosses just as much, he wouldn't want to lose, or they wouldn't want to lose their best 2 attackers in the same transfer window. Now, in this, Macasino, is asking, how am I? I'm good, my brother. Good to have you once again back on the channel. How have you been? I kindly like the broadcast, but thank you for, reuniting with us once again. So I did explain to you that in that context, they would rather lose only 1. But also, I did leave a footnote that if their valuation for Yohan Wissa, which is £50 million, essentially, was made, then maybe they could consider moving on the player because that's a combined 50 million pounds, and then on this side getting 65 guaranteed for Bryan Mbeumo. That's 115 million pounds. You can go back in the market and reinvest that. But of course, all investments are a gamble at this stage, that you could reinvest in players that may not work out, but it does sound very, very attractive. An offer for a team like Brentford, you could use all that money. But also, it sort of leaves Keith Andrews a bit exposed. You're a new manager. This is your first big role as head coach, as manager. You are only a set piece coach until yesterday. It doesn't mean that you have lesser skills, but you do not have the experience. So, and yet you're losing your significant or best players in the team. Like I told you, the goalkeeper, Mark Flecken, left for Bayer Leverkusen, and they replaced him with Liverpool's Kelleher at the time for 18 million pounds. Now you lose Bryan Mbeumo, you lost the skipper in Christian Nogard. If you lose one Wissa, what's not to say that? You see, every time you lose some of your big players, the other players that are left in the squad that are equally that good, that may be attracting some form of interest from some of the big clubs or elsewhere, I get the feeling that they get also inclined to move on and say, look, we are left here with a bunch of other, fellows that are not as good as those that we've lost. So are we going to be able to hack it, or we should also consider moving on? And I do feel that's part of Johan Wissa's school of thought at the moment, or thought process at the moment, to say that, maybe, just maybe, we should be moving. I should be considering really, really these offers from Tottenham Hotspurs. Preferably, it's been reported that he would prefer to reunite with Thomas Frank at Tottenham Hotspurs, where he is really, really liked. But also, Newcastle do want him. Remember, Newcastle also have UEFA Champions League football, so it's not too far-fetched for one to imagine that he will be open to a move to Newcastle, given that they have UEFA Champions League football. They can offer more competitive wages as compared to Brentford. So all the reasons to make the move. Last season, he scored 19 goals and provided, I think, 4 assists in the Premier League alone. So very, very impressive player there in Johan Wissa. A bit of a late developer because he's 28 years of age. Then also, this was according to the United Stand. Sorry, no, this was according to Ben Jacobs about a day or so ago. He said, I still think we might see some legs in Benjamin Sesko deals. So that he was speaking about that in reference to Man United. So like I said, could Man United make a move for Benjamin Sesko? We do not know with absolute certainty, but we can't rule out anything. However, that deal is also an expensive one because RB Leipzig want no less than 90 million euros for the transfer of the 22-year-old Slovene international. Now, you remember the situation as explained to you regarding, James Trafford and Stefan Ortega of Manchester City having to move on one of their players. So, according to Ben Jacobs, he says Stefan Ortega is an option for Burnley in case they lose James Trafford. No approach yet. Now, Man City are considering resigning a player because they do have that 40 million pound back clause. So, but Newcastle have also been working on a deal. Now, that deal has stalled. Now, if you have, and this is why this is very, very difficult for Newcastle to pull off, is you have Man City who are now interested and they have a buyback clause of 40 million pounds. So if you're if you're Burnley, you're thinking to yourself, why should I sell to Newcastle for 30 million pounds or even 35? And yet I can't get 40 from Manchester City. So it sort of puts Newcastle in a bit of a tough situation. It puts them in a bit of a pickle really there to improve on their offer. For example, to say, we'll pay you maybe 35 million pounds as guaranteed fees, plus 7 million pounds or 8 in expected add-ons. So that means the deal rises up to 43. And those add-ons, some of them will be easily achieved. For example, the player makes 30, maybe 20 appearances in the Premier League, you get £1 million. If you do qualify for UEFA Champions League, you get £2 million over the next course of 3 years or within a space of 3 years. Things like that. Remember, he's only 22. So it does help. It could help them that way if they can negotiate in that line. However, they may find it difficult to bid of interest for Manchester City, who have history with the player. So, but let's just wait and see. Then Alfred Gilchrist is set to leave Chelsea. Teams like Derby County, Watford, and Middlesbrough and Blackburn have all inquired about Alfred Gilchrist from Chelsea. Chelsea are looking for around £5 million. So, but they have no plans of sanctioning a loan whatsoever. They want to move him on permanently. Then Thomas Frank. Okay, before we get to Thomas Frank, I promised to tell you why I think Newcastle are finding it a bit hard to land their, prime targets. Remember, they had interest in João Pedro. They lost that one to Chelsea. They had interest in Liam Delap, pretty much as like Man United. They lost that one to Chelsea. They had interest in Bryan Mbeumo. The player chose Man United over anybody else because Tottenham, Arsenal, and Chelsea were equally interested in Bryan Mbeumo, so you can't fault them much for that. They wanted Anthony Elanga. That one they landed. They wanted Hugo Ekiteke. Looks like he's going to go to Liverpool. Now they want James Trafford, and there are chances that he could go to Man City. Now, Newcastle's pool is not that strong. While they are a very, very good team with all the history, and while they are doing well in as far as their project is concerned, and they do have UEFA Champions League football, I also get the feel that the manager does not have that strong a pool. And of course, the pedigree of those other clubs, that's where they come in to say that if Newcastle and Arsenal or Chelsea or Man United, Liverpool are competing for the same player, then chances are he's going to go to the other 4 teams before he considers going to Newcastle. And that's not to say that Newcastle are a bad team, but the other clubs are significantly better than them in terms of history and pedigree and things of that nature. So, but also in sort of the kind of trust that some of these players have in the managers that are in some of these clubs, but Manchester United, because Ruben Amorim is only new in the Premier League. So that's the situation, really. I do not. Is there anything I've left out? Of course, Noni Madueke put pen to paper through an Instagram post to send out a very long post appreciating Chelsea fans for the love and the criticism and things of that nature. So what with that, you can go to his Instagram and check that out to see what he had to say. But yeah, that's then also Gabriel Jesus has been an overdrive. It's like a public relations overdrive. It's like he's telling Arsenal, I'm fit, I'm available, I can still deliver. He's been really, really working hard to get back on his feet. He's been doing a lot of gym work. He's been doing some, I've not seen clips of ball work, but he's been really, really in the gym and doing lots of things, and trying to stress or to put stress on that knee. Remember, he underwent surgery following that anterior cruciate ligament injury that he did suffer. So we do not know what his due date, we do not know what his due date is in terms of, return, but the ball work that we've seen him do was juggling the ball, within the gym there. I've not seen a clip on him, running on the grass, but I've seen him do a lot of, gym drills. Gaming, hi, good to have you back on the channel. Akatdul Gaming, good to have you back on the channel. Hello to you too. How have you been? Kindly like the broadcast, but thank you for reuniting with us once again. So guys, do let me know what you think about all those deals, all that conversation regarding Man United, Liverpool's pursuits for Hugo Ekiteke. Then also, this is some bit of breaking news. Brighton and Hove Albion have rejected a bid from AC Milan for Pavis Estupinan. Also, Manchester United, remember we talked about him in the morning, that Manchester United are also keen on Pavis Estupinan. Ivan Ferguson is getting closer for to join AC Roma for a substantial loan fee. any buy option would need to be big. Goalkeeper Carl Rushworth is set to join. Peterborough. Anyways, that's a footnote. But Ivan Ferguson, we spoke about that deal. Then we spoke about Manchester United's interest in Pavis Estupinan from Brighton and Hove Albion, but AC Milan are also interested in his services. So let's wait and see. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope in Matthias Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo are playing together at Manchester United. But let's hope that everything does work out well or does live to the expectations. Let's just hope so. Let's just hope so, because it can be a bit of a tough one. It can, sometimes you sign very, very good players from these mid-table teams, kinda, and then those players come and sort of do not live to those expectations. It's one that we've seen, happen a couple of times. It's one we've seen a couple of times. Carol Love, hi, remember me? I'm back. I do remember you, Carol Love. I think Carol Lowe. You said there's another name that you gave us that time instead of using Lowe. And if I'm not mistaken, you said you are from the USA. I do remember you. I just trying to scratch my medulla oblongata to give me those other details. Was it Linde? Is that the name you used? Was it Linde or something? Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's what I do remember, that you had offered for us to use a different name. Yes, you're from the USA. Yeah, I do not remember particularly what state, but I do remember that you are from the USA. I'm good to have you back on the podcast. Thank you so much for sparing the moment to be with us once again. And I hope you're doing good. I hope you've been okay. I hope life is treating you kindly. Because I know lots of things have been happening in the US in the last couple of days gone by, including those floods in Texas and then in New Mexico. But I hope you're okay and everybody that you care about is okay. So, anyways, guys, any questions regarding your favorite teams, regarding what you think they should be doing extra in as far as the transfer window is concerned, or when it comes to the transfer window, or their plans for preseason? That's not worth mentioning. But anyways, let's unless you have any questions, I got to leave. Bye bye. Thank you, Carol, for being with us. Anyways, guys, it's been 1 hour and 8 minutes. Special shout outs to you, Carol Lowy. Thank you so much, Actudol Gaming. Thank you so much, Kayode Ogdeji, for being with us tonight and for your submissions. Thank you so much. Love you, Jenman, for being with us from India. Thank you so much, Chame Makai. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much, Sonic, for being with us tonight. And every single one of you that managed to like the broadcast, every single one of you that joined but did not like or did not submit a comment, I do still appreciate you for sparing the time to be with us. It's been a pleasure doing this with you. Let's do it again tomorrow morning, and we'll be discussing some of these reports further. We've not gotten to look at the transfer gossip and speculation, but let's do that in the morning. Let me let you guys go rest. Let me let you guys go to your respective duty stations. For those of you for whom it is still time to get to work, and I'll see you in the morning. Stay blessed and have a wonderful rest of the night. Bye bye for now.